G'day and welcome to episode 21. In the last episode we ventured to the Gillies and visited some pretty special waterfalls in Lombok. In this episode we'll finish our time in Lombok and make our way over to Bali before heading to the beautiful Nusa Penida.
Today we're making our way from Senaru to Sumbalu.
Do you have chickens?
We spent the last 2 nights in Senaru at a place called Rinjani Lighthouse, which is at the top of town. Nice quiet area. If you're in the area, go check them out. So on the way today, it's only about 20 something kilometres. There's a waterfall which we're going to check out, and lookout overlooking a valley which we want to try and get to for sunrise. Sunset, sorry. Yeah.
Falls are a little bit different from the last couple which we visited. They're so powerful. I'm not sure we're going to be able to go for a leisurely swim today. This waterfall goes by the name of Mangku Sakti and is directly fed from the lake on Mount Rinjani. It has a sulphur content which gives the water its milky appearance and, according to the locals, can be used to cure different kinds of skin diseases.
We found the wet season was definitely not over on our way out of the falls, as we were hit with torrential rain, turning the track into an absolute mess. See in the video, finding traction regardless of how you're travelling wasn't easy. Much to some people's amusement. Hello. Good morning, Bali. We got into Bali last night about midnight off the ferry from Lombok, a bit later than we planned. The ferry took about 5.5 hours. It cost about $92. We are now parked up on the hill just above Padang Bai, which is where the ferry comes in. Pretty good spot, which we were told about by a lovely Swiss couple we met in Kuta who had driven their Troopy down from Switzerland going to Australia. Today we're going to go to Denpasar. It would be nice to stay here, but we've got a bit of a squeak coming from the rear wheels or brakes, so I just want to get a workshop and have a squiz before we go exploring again. So we'll go down today, being Friday. I want to get it done before the weekend so we can go to Nusa Penida hopefully tomorrow. So we're taking the brake pads off. This is not what your brake pads are supposed to look like. So, old mate, don't know his name, he's just calling his mate to see if we can get some new ones. Might even get some spares.
Yesterday, after we left the mechanics, we decided to come down to the Uluwatu area, which is in the southern part of Bali. We didn't really have any plans as far as a camp spot went, but we seen a bush track when we got here and decided to follow it, which it led to the most amazing camp spot. It feels like we're back in Australia, like just being in the bush, and it's just so nice and quiet. It's on the cliff above Padang Beach, which is just a little bit north of Uluwatu. There's even like our own little track which just goes, like a walking track which just goes down the cliff to the main Padang Beach. And this is the view. How amazing is this? Literally, as soon as I stopped filming just then, a monkey just tried to get in the car, and then we just tried to stop it and yell at it, and it was so aggressive. It was like running at us with its teeth like out and like hissing. Oh, I'm shaking. It was so intense. We scared it away eventually after like 5 minutes of like this head-to-head battle scene. Anyway, it's gone back in the bush. I think there's two in there, so we're just got, like, they're just hanging around, so we're just throwing like small rocks in the bush just to try and scare them away. Whew, they're so scary. There is absolutely no swell today. As Mark just said before, it is as flat as a tack. So we're going to get the dive gear down and go for a swim.
Snorkel?
The snorkel. Each year in Bali, the Hindu celebration of Nyepi is honoured. The celebrations are basically over 3 days and are held all over the island. The first day, this day, is where these effigies of the evil spirits are showcased and then destroyed, representing the initiation of a cleansing process. The following day, the entire island goes into lockdown and is quiet for 24 hours to allow personal meditation and reflection and to hide from the evil spirits. This includes no work of any kind, no lights, no cars, no bikes, definitely no noise, and not leaving the house for any reason. The only people allowed to exit their homes are the Pekalan or religious police who monitor the streets. This is definitely not something taken lightly in Bali, with even the international airport closing and hospitals only providing emergency treatments. The following day is celebrated as New Year's Day, where, following the Balinese calendar, it is now 1940. We were pretty lucky to be able to experience this side of Balinese life, though out of respect for the culture, we had to retreat from our amazing camp spot and stay in a guest house for the weekend. Today we're driving up to Padang Bai on the east coast where the ferry terminal is, and we're going over to Nusa Penida for about 2 weeks. On the way up there though, we're stopping in at one of the banks in Denpasar because I left the MasterCard in the ATM the other day. So luckily it's been collected and we can pick it up.
So it is 1:20 and we're getting on the ferry, the 10 o'clock ferry. Finally. It's been a nice wait in the sun today. It's very nice to be at the beach. What can you do?
You're on.
So after a long hot day on the ferries, or waiting for the ferries I should say, we finally made it to Nusa Penida. We've come to a spot where if you look on the internet for Nusa Penida, you'll probably see some tree houses on the side of a hill. That's where we are now, and how good is this view? The tree houses are actually down the bottom of the cliff. You can stay in those, they're pretty amazing. We're going to stay in the car up in the top flat section. Thankfully the owners letting us stay there, which is awesome. And out here you can see the currents ripping through the strait between here and Lombok. There's supposed to be some good fishing out there, some decent sized pelagics. Not good for swimming though. But yeah, sunrise here is supposed to be pretty special, so we'll come down early and try and get some good footage.
This place is just breathtaking. I can't get over it. Amazing. That's it for this episode, and thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you get notified when the next video is up, where we'll finish off our lap around Nusa Penida. Thanks guys, see ya!